Kamala Harris went on 60 Minutes and was asked questions that actually matter to voters. The only thing is that 60 Minutes edited the responses to make it look like she answered precisely and accurately, but I couldn't be farther from the truth. We know that 60 Minutes did this because the network gave an unedited version to Face the Nation, and Face the Nation has chosen, quote, a different portion of the answer, which makes it seem like Kamala Harris rambles first and then gets to the answer, almost as if she wanted to filibuster so then you would forget about the question at hand. But 60 Minutes came out and said that 60 Minutes provided the excerpt of the interview to Face the Nation that used a larger section of the answer than what was on 60 Minutes. The statement claimed, same answer, same question, but different portion of the response. This is not something that they would have liked to come out and would have preferred to keep hidden from public view. It comes down to this. If you are interviewing a presidential candidate, make the video longer to fit everything the candidate has said instead of cherry picking the best parts. Everyone is so sick of the media because they lie about everything that they say repeatedly. We have also been hearing a lot about Trump's alleged mental decline, but the Wall Street Journal has just now came out and said that Mr. Trump's detractors have been speculating about his mental decline. There is absolutely no sign of slippage in our Thursday meeting. In 2024, Trump seems more confident and knowledgeable about his policy than he was in 2015. His discursive style of taking can confuse listeners, but that was equally true 9 years ago. And he never appears lost in his thoughts the way President Biden repeatedly did in the June debate, which is crazy that the Wall Street Journal has now came out and said that because of the fact that the Wall Street Journal is left-leaning. If the left-leaning publication is admitting that Joe Biden was fumbling in the June debate, then you can accurately and confidently say that yes, it is 100% true what they're doing now, what they're saying now, because of the fact that they have no incentive whatsoever to lie on behalf of Trump. With that being said, let's just dig right into the whole entire article from the Daily Wire about CBS News.
Facts over tracks, isn't that spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Digging right in, we actually have the 60 Minutes finally responds to the scandal over decisive editing of Kamala Harris's interview. CBS News 60 Minutes has finally responded to a scandal on Sunday night that erupted 2 weeks ago when the show decisively edited remarks from an interview with Vice President Kamala Harris. The show claimed about providing evidence that the alleged decisively edited in its interview with Harris was false. 60 Minutes gave an excerpt of the interview to Face the Nation that used a larger section of the answer that was on 60 Minutes, the statement claimed. Same question, same answer, but different portion of the response. The left-wing show claimed that the portion of her answer on 60 Minutes was more succinct, allows time for other subjects in a wide-ranging 21-minute long segment. Okay, so it does not matter. Make the segment longer to include the whole entire statement said by the presidential candidate. You're interviewing them, you want to know their answers, don't cut out their answers. That just makes us not want to believe you even more, which I don't even believe them at all. So I don't even know if that was possible, which, yeah, it is possible because I don't believe them whatsoever. CBS News could have exonerated itself from the avalanche of negative claims it has faced as a result of scandally simply releasing the full interview and transcript, but it did not. The show had faced calls from the media organizations, former CBS News journalists, United States senators, and the Trump campaign to be transparent by releasing the full interview. The Trump campaign responded to the CBS's news statement by saying 60 Minutes just admitted to doing exactly what President Trump accused them of doing. They edited a different response from another part of her answer to make Kamala Harris sound less incoherent than she actually was. The statement is not a denial, it is an admission because they know exactly what they were accused of. This is another reminder of how hopelessly biased 60 Minutes is, and how correct President Trump was to decline their invitation to be subject to their fake news hickory. Release the transcript. I completely agree. The moment in question came as host Bill Whitmer, I should say, Whitaker, was discussing the Harris the United States financial support for Israel and its war against genocidal Islamic terrorists in the region. But it seems like Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening, Whitaker said to Harris. In a promotional clip that was posted by CBS News on Sunday, Harris responded to that statement from Whitaker by saying the work that has been done has resulted in a number of moments in the region by Israel and is very much promoted by a result of many things, including our adversary for what needs to happen in that region. Okay, so that's just a nothing sentence. What we need to do is reliant on what we need to do in that country. That doesn't even make any sense here. However, when you watched a full interview, which was released by the network on Monday night, the statement from Harris was nowhere to be found. Those words were not included anywhere in the television broadcast, nor did it appear in the interview when it was posted to YouTube, the interview's transcript, or show's overtime segment. Instead, on television, in the interview posted online, Wetker identical statement that, quote, "It seems like Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening," is followed by Harris saying, "We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand and what we stand on the need for the war to end." Okay, so again, that's still a nothing sentence. We're not going to stop pursuing what's necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end. Okay, so that's just like, if your teacher wants 5,000 words and you're at like 4,500 words, you're trying to like, we want to do what's necessary for the United States because it is necessary for us to end the war. Okay, so it is beneficial for the United States to end the war in the region. How about you just say that? No. Instead, you want to do like 3 run-on sentences together to compile the same exact result as one sentence would have achieved. Doesn't make any sense here. So, of course, everybody is sick of this gaslighting. They do not want CBS News to actually lie to us and keep lying to us, because this is exactly what they do time and time and time again. They always lie to us. They always deceive us. And this is exactly why we do not trust the mainstream media whatsoever anymore. I don't watch the mainstream media at all. So, with that being said, we do have, speaking of the mainstream media, we have the Wall Street Journal. Is now dismissing attacks on Trump's mental decline after 90-minute interview. So, no evidence of former President Trump's alleged mental decline showed during Trump's 90-minute interview with the Wall Street Journal's editorial board last week. The former president's age, 78, and mental acuity have been targets lately of the vice presidential candidate, or the Vice President Kamala Harris presidential campaign, and other critics. The Wall Street Journal editorial board found no basis of the attacks during a lengthy interview with Trump on Thursday. However, in some ways, Trump seemed more knowledgeable and competent during the 90-minute grilling than he did 8 years ago during the first run of the White House, according to the Wall Street Journal. According to its report, lately, Mr. Trump's detractors have been speculating about his mental decline. There's no sign of such slippage in our Thursday meeting. In 2024, Trump seems more confident and is certainly more knowledgeable about policy than he was in 2015. His discursive style of talking can confuse listeners, but that is equally true 9 years ago. And he never happens to be lost in his thoughts the way President Biden did in their June debate. Harris, who turned 60 on Sunday, has campaigned on the difference in age between herself and the former president. In addition to other issues, in a recent interview on Fox News, Harris said that she represents a new generation of leadership. Over the weekend, Harris attacked Trump and increasingly unstable and unhinged. He's becoming increasingly unstable and unhinged, and it requires a response, Harris told reporters on Saturday, according to CNN. I think the American people deserve better than someone who actually seems to be unstable. While Harris continues to question Trump's fitness for office, she has avoided criticizing 81-year-old President Joe Biden, whose mental acuity and health was seized by Democrats who wanted Biden to end his re-election bid in June 27th presidential debate. During the debate, Biden appeared muddled and nonsensical at times. Biden trailed Trump in polling amid the pressure to drop from the race. Harris has maintained that Biden's mental acuity has not suffered at all during his time as president. And she has continuously defended the president over questions about his mental health, despite his misgivings voiced by Democrats and donors prior to Biden dropping out of the race. Okay, so you're telling me, if we were to compare these two presidents, Trump looks worse in Kamala Harris's mind than Joe Biden does, when Joe Biden has been on the beach of Delaware, in which he can't go on the beach of Delaware anymore because it's in the middle of October. But all summer long, he's been on the beach of Delaware time after time after time of catastrophe after catastrophe after catastrophe. And you're telling me that Trump is the person that does not have the mental acuity to keep on going? No. Joe Biden is the person that does not have the mental acuity to keep going because they forced him out of the race. They forced Joe Biden out of the race because of the fact that they know that Joe Biden is not fit for office. But the thing is, they do not want to impeach Joe Biden because of the fact that they do not want Kamala Harris in here before the election because of the fact that she's going to ruin her chances because she's going to have a catastrophe just like Joe Biden did. And they want Kamala Harris to at least have the 4 years before she actually has a few month free trial of exactly how she's going to ruin the country before she actually gets elected. So that's exactly why they don't impeach Joe Biden, because they do not want to see what Kamala Harris is capable of. So with that being said, we do have another article from the Daily Wire. We have Trump works fry cooker at McDonald's and roast Kamala. I've now worked 15 minutes more than she ever has, which is just funny. Former President Donald Trump made a stop on Sunday at a McDonald's restaurant while campaigning in the key swing state in Pennsylvania. Trump put on an apron, worked the fry cooker with the help of one employee, and handed out food at the drive-thru window. I really wish that I would be able to work at McDonald's the same time as Trump. That would be amazing. A reporter asked Trump what his favorite order was, to which he replied, "I like it all. I like every ounce of it, everything. But I do like the fries where I'll be working," which is exactly where Kamala Harris said that she worked. So that's just funny. Trump also took a swipe of the 2024 rival vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris, who has said that she did fries and worked at the cash register at McDonald's while in college. The Washington Free Bacon and others have raised questions about the claim that Harris has never mentioned a job at McDonald's in her resume, a job application, or her memoirs. "I've worked 15 minutes more than Kamala Harris. She never worked here," Trump rippled to people standing outside of the drive-thru window, which is just hilarious. CBS reported a large crowd of Trump supporters have gathered near a McDonald's in Farrowville, Bucks County, to get a peek of the former president stopping by. Trump, a well-known fast food visitor, said that McDonald's is an amazing business. He added that it is an amazing country and we're going to make America greater than ever before. So this is just hilarious. Prior to his McDonald's visit, Trump posted about Harris and President Joe Biden on his Truth Social platform. He mentioned his no tax on tips idea that Harris later copied. "We have checked with McDonald's and they said definitely there's no record of lying Kamala Harris has ever worked here. In other words, she's never worked there and she's lied about her jobs for years," he said. Yeah, I completely agree. Trump added, additionally, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are killing franchises, want to end all franchises, will destroy values and jobs. Also remember from me, no tax on tips. With less than 2 weeks before election day polls in Pennsylvania and other battleground states have shown Trump leading Harris. Betting markets have similarly favored Trump in recent days. Okay, so there's one betting market that I saw that has Trump at 60% and Kamala Harris at 38%. So that's really good for Trump. He held a rally in Latrobe, Pennsylvania on Saturday. He is expected to participate in a town hall in Lancaster County on Sunday after his stop at the McDonald's and attend a Steelers game in the evening. Billionaire tech entrepreneur Elon Musk is also campaigning for Trump in Pennsylvania. So this is just hilarious. I would love to go to a McDonald's. I went to Wendy's yesterday to try out one of their new stuff. But if Trump was ever at a McDonald's, I would rather obviously go to McDonald's to see exactly what they got going on there instead of going over to Miss Wendy's. But yeah, this would be hilarious. If you went to a McDonald's and you're like, I just want some food. And then you go up to the drive-thru and the president is working there. Oh my God, that would be hilarious. Imagine Joe Biden working there. He'd be like, oh, fries, oh, and he poured them on the ground. He would definitely do that. I want to see Kamala Harris do the same exact thing. And she would be like, I used to work fries, guys. I used to work fries. Don't not worry. And then she would pour them on the ground, not knowing what she's doing. Trump, everything just fits in perfectly for him. So with that being said, we do have a Federalist article. We have CBS News released the full Kamala Harris interview transcript now. And I completely agree with this. CBS News was once one for defending news outlets in the world, whether it be Edward R. Murrow reporting live from London during the Blitz in World War II, or Walter Cronkite's coverage of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Generations of Americans turn to CBS for fair, accurate reporting on the most important issues of the day. No longer. CBS News stands accused of deliberately distorting its news coverage for nakedly political purposes to prop up Kamala Harris' failing presidential campaign by attempting to hide her inability to answer even a simple question about her policy position and how she would act if elected president. How badly skewed was CBS's coverage of her interview with Harris, broadcast to the world on Face the Nation in 60 Minutes? Well, last week, the nonprofit group Center for American Rights, CAR, filed a complaint with the Federal Communications Commission, alleging deliberate news distortion, a violation of FCC regulations, and a half-century precedent. In this complaint, CAR lawyer Daniel Schur contends that the evidence of illegal news distortion by CBS cannot be clearer. In the two different news programs, CBS broadcast the same question followed by two different answers from Harris, resulting in a situation where the general public no longer has any confidence as to what the vice president actually said in response to the query. This goes well beyond mere editorial oversight of an interview. Picking what to include and what not to include and instead constitutes a violation of the public trust in the news material CBS presented was in any way factual. Responding to a complaint in Fox News interview, FCC Commissioner Nathan Singleton indicated that he is taking this matter seriously. Going on the news is an act of extending trust, he stated. And the thing about trust is once it's lost, it's very difficult to regain. And I completely agree with this. We talked about this already on today's show, but the thing is, again, CBS News needs to release the transcripts because of the fact that people have stopped trusting the CBS News in general. People have stopped trusting 60 Minutes, and now there's not a lot of sources to actually go in the mainstream media sphere to actually get your news. So this is exactly why you need to look at alternative media sources. I completely agree with this. So with that being said, again, and again, we always learn that the mainstream media just wants to deceive us. We learn that the mainstream media just wants to lie straight to our faces. And then wonder why they lost all of our trust throughout the years. It's because they deceive us and lie to our face time and time again as if it's this funny scheme or this funny joke that they have planned for us. It's not funny. We're not putting up with it any longer because we're tuning out. We are not listening to mainstream media outlets anymore. And you can see this by the ratings. With that being said, we're going to do it for this episode of the Demetrius Joe Show. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, I do post new episodes of the show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye.